self-produced segment on Mythbusters, which was also kind of influenced by luck a little bit. Anyways, hi, I'm Elijah from Mythbusters Jr. Surprisingly, during the filming of Mythbusters, a lot of things didn't make it to the final cut. Like, a lot of things were filmed, but they didn't make it past the editors. And one thing I definitely didn't expect to make it past the editors was my own self-produced segment. Now, this story starts when we were filming a myth about mayonnaise. A myth, essentially the myth was, can you make a batch of mayonnaise in an electrical storm? You know, does the electricity, does the humidity, does any of that affect it? That part doesn't really matter for this story. The part that matters is that I got to program an Arduino to move the little mayonnaise mixer up and down. Now, I'd worked with Arduinos before, but I'm not really familiar with the Arduino's like IDE, the Arduino's like text editor for code. So I kind of blanked on the day of shooting. I couldn't really remember too much of how the IDE worked. So, luckily, there's a really good maker on set called Mel. He helped me out a lot. And at the end of the day, they got to use some B-roll footage from that shoot. So it worked out okay. But at the, after that happened, I didn't feel like I had done my best. So essentially what happened when I got home was a person on Twitter asked me, or actually asked a group I'm in to give them videos of you doing sciencey, of like us doing sciencey things with oranges. So people did stuff. I did a Newton's Cradle, and if you know oranges and if you know Newton's Cradles, they're pretty, I'm sure everyone's familiar with those two things. You know that oranges absorb a lot of kinetic force, a lot of kinetic energy, which means that wasn't the greatest thing to build a Newton's Cradle out of. But the thing that I took away from that after I finished filming that video and I sent it to her was, I can produce a video segment, which gave me an idea. I had the idea to produce a video segment for Mythbusters, explaining how a hard drive worked for the next myth on Monday, which was, well, can you erase a hard drive with a garbage magnet from a distance? You know, garbage magnets they used to pick up cars. It's from the show Breaking Bad. It was essentially a myth. Well, could that actually happen in real life? Now, my idea for my own self-produced segment was explaining how a hard drive worked. And I had always wanted to do this thing where I had always wanted to build like a PC for me to host a Minecraft server on, but I never really came up with the reason for me to build that PC until I came up with a self-produced segment where I came up with an excuse to ask my dad for PC parts so I could build the computer. Now, I built the computer. I went to John Tessier that Monday. John Tessier is the producer. And I asked if I could, he's like the big producer. I asked him if I could produce that segment. If I could shoot that segment, I chose what I wanted to say, and I said I wanted to explain how a hard drive worked. So the day eventually came. I brought in the computer. I brought in an extra hard drive to explain how it worked. And I brought in a butter knife to act as a shim so I could open up the computer just in case anything went wrong. But I ended up shooting the scene, and it went really well. I explained how a hard drive worked, obviously. You know, it's just a disk. There's two little magnetic bits. You'll see later. I'll show you the video. And I didn't think it would make it to air. Reason being, I didn't think I'd done a very good job presenting. Literally, the first thing I did when I walked into the room was I went down. There's a whiteboard in front of me behind the camera. I was like, okay, let me write this down so I can like read it off just in case I forget while I'm talking. And then we had to do a bunch of cuts, but you know, it ended up making it to air. And let me show you the video now. Let me pull it up. Hold on. Here we go. Let me just move BB Edit out of the way and share my screen. Share screen. Where? Okay, here. Do you see it? Oh wait, I didn't. Wait, I stopped share. Sorry, I constantly do this when I share my screen. I didn't share computer sound and optimize screen to share. Okay, here we go. Where is it? Here. Okay, this is my self-produced segment.
To find out about data destruction,
I forgot how reflective this was. It's like looking into a mirror.
It's over to our resident electronics expert, Elijah.
This is a hard drive. In the center of every hard drive, there's a bunch of metal disks, and each metal disk has a thin layer of magnetic particles on it. A cluster of these magnetic particles is called a bit. Each disk also has a read-write head that can change all the particles in a bit to face one of two directions, corresponding to a 1 or a 0. That's binary. The way the computer converts the binary back into normal computer data is by using a magnetic reader also on the read-write head. So here's the thing. If a tiny electromagnet can change the directions of the particles on the disk, Then a larger magnet from the outside of the hard drive should theoretically be able to scramble the hard drive.
You're muted, Elijah.
Okay, this time it was just me pressing the mute button on my mic. Anyways, that was my self-produced segment. It was kind of short, but I was amazed it made it onto air at all. And actually, the computer in the background, I never used it to host my Minecraft server. I ended up using it to play games on my Oculus, my VR headset downstairs. Anyways, that was the story. Do you have any questions? Does anyone have any questions?
Did it erase the disk, the big drive, the big magnet?
This is where I plug Mythbusters Jr. on the Science Channel YouTube channel. I'm not going to tell you the ending of that myth. Go watch it on YouTube. I got to promote this. Just kidding. But yeah. Yeah, Mythbusters Jr. is available on the Science Channel YouTube channel. So if you want to see how that turned out, you can watch it there. Oh, I suddenly made it small.
Okay. Elijah, have you ever heard of something called the Faraday Cage?
No.
Okay. You want to go look that up and find out how that affects what you're dealing with.
Oh, is that just like the rebar in between the concrete? Oh, wait, no, that's not. Okay.
No. But
Okay.
but you can look it up. You can get some data on it. But it's part of the electromagnetic shielding
Okay.
that they're putting. That's why they cover everything in aluminum foil, because they're trying to shield it.
Okay.
Very good. So what is your next project?
My next project, I'm actually working. I have a lot of prototypes for this. This is the most recent. And, my head! Ow! Oh, geez, I should watch out for that. Anyways, this is the most recent prototype of it. This is actually an RC car with a camera attached to it, and it has a little servo motor to move the camera up and down. It runs on 3 disposable batteries and 2 main batteries. I have a lot of previous prototypes. Some of them are bigger. Some of them have a speaker on them, so I can speak through a Python text-to-speech thing called eSpeak. Essentially, it's a car for me to torment my friends when I can't interact with them in real life. The goal is I can drive it up to them. I want to attach a little rubber band flinger on it. But in terms of my most recent thing, I just built this really simple infrared security camera to put outside my door. Just in case, I'm up late at night when I'm not supposed to be, and I need to dive under my desk when my dad comes in the room.
But Elijah, that's infrared, right?
Yes, I need to.
But it won't pick up zombies because they're dead and they don't have any heat.
Yeah. Also, another thing is it won't really pick up anything because I forgot to add the infrared light onto it. I forgot to add like a light detector and then infrared light that turns on when it's dark. So in the dark, it can't see anything.
Okay, so it's an emitter detector pair is what you have, emitting infrared and bouncing it off.
Yes.
Okay. There was an earlier presentation by a young man from Ghana, and he has created a virus detector, not a virus detector, but a COVID detector to see if somebody has the virus, and it relies on somebody getting warm, and he is using the warmth of the human body and turning on lights. You might want to see we're recording all of these. You might want to go see one of the first ones. I think it was like 12:15, and his name was Lord Chris, and you can see what he has done, and maybe you can contact him and get some more information. I'm sure he'd love to be a consultant on your show.
Oh, thank you. I saw, is it okay if I look at the comment section, sort of like, I saw something that I wanted to address, actually 2 things. One is, someone asked what my Minecraft server IP is. I can't give that away right now because it also just points to my grandpa's computer in my house. So, it's not like a server that I pay for. It's just a server that I'm hosting off of a 2009 iMac in my house. It's not doing too great. It's constantly at 300% CPU usage. And another thing, I can't find it now, but someone mentioned that I was wearing the same exact sweater that I was wearing then. I've actually been wearing this model of sweater since 2nd grade. It's a creeper hoodie sweater. I started playing Minecraft a while ago, and I essentially started wearing this sweater every day. But when I started really, really wearing it, like I started wearing it as a joke in 4th grade when my teacher marked me absent because she couldn't recognize me without the sweater. I was wearing like a black bear sweater that day.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm sure she recognized you. She was probably just pretending that she couldn't.
Oh, that's true. Well, I ended up, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well,
Also, I don't know if you're reading the chat, but I have 15 of these. Actually, I might only have 12 now that I think about it, because so one of them got destroyed when I tried to take the logo off for Mythbusters Jr.
well, Elijah, I want to wish you all the best of luck in everything that you're doing. You have a great sense of humor. And,
Oh, was it the head thing? Because that wasn't a joke. My head hurts.
oh no, I thought you did that deliberately.
I think you need to work on something with duct tape that you could do to protect your head.
Yeah, I actually just wanted to cut a pool noodle in half and sort of like tape it to this corner.
We have those dormer ceilings up in our upstairs too, and they can be quite dangerous if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, Elijah, here's the problem. Here's the problem. You're still young. You're going to grow. So any problems you're having with hitting your head now are going to get worse. You need to talk to your grandfather and say, thank you very much for lending me the use of your computer, but now I need a higher roof.
Cool. Yeah, I should. Yeah, I should do that.
Absolutely.
A lot of my family hits their head. All right.
Well, thank you very much for participating in this. And these are great stories. And it's very exciting for everybody. But we have our next presenter coming right up. So Elijah, thank you very much. And
thanks, Elijah.
All right, bye.
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 Keep watching.